Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You lead the way. Where are we headed? Towards a net zero future, of course. Cleaner water, more electricity, a sustainable society. That's the destination we've set ourselves. This we know. Yes, we know exactly where we're going, but we need to get there quicker. So, let's build on the progress we've already made by working and walking together. With the right partners, tools, and ideas, we'll become an unstoppable force. This we know. Right now, there are businesses who are putting technology and sustainability at the heart of everything they do. Brave leaders turning maybes into realities and building something better for everyone. Now is the time to look to the future and reinvent ourselves today, empowering others to do the same tomorrow. Yes, we know what the future holds, and we know how to get there. So, let's take charge of the journey today.
Welcome to our school board meeting.
Namaskar.
Hello.
Hi.
Spiffio, access in any language.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the celebration of the World Education Week. And this is Michelle Felsted, and I will be your moderator for today's panel discussion presented to you by Bunuan Buquig National High School. So, before anything else, I would like to extend my warmest greetings to all our viewers worldwide. Please don't forget to share our live broadcast, and don't forget to use the hashtag World Edu Week. Okay, once again, the hashtag is World Edu Week. So, recently, our school, Bunuan Buquig National High School, um, was among the top three finalists as the world's best school for environmental action. And in today's panel discussion, we are going to share with you this expertise that has been developed for over more than a decade. And we are going to talk about why our school stepped into saving mangroves. So we will be joined by the pioneers of this project who are truly dedicated nature lovers. So at this juncture, please allow me to introduce to you our panelists, our speaker for today's panel discussion. Our first speaker was a former school head of PBNHS who took the environmental project to a great level. And she's now the chief of the Curriculum Implementation Division. So let's all welcome Madam Maria Linda R. Ventimiglia. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Michelle. Mabuhay from the Philippines. We are the
Yes.
Bunuan Buquig National High School Team Bakawan, and we wish to share with you why we stepped up to plant as many mangroves as we can in order to reverse the devastating impact of climate change to our dear students. The 2009 Pacific typhoon season brought 13 typhoons and 5 super typhoons in the Philippines. Super Typhoon Pepeng, internationally known as Parma, had its landfall in northern Philippines then and directly hit the Gupan city. Pepeng really gave us a devastating blow. It toppled down trees, it shut power lines, overflowed ponds, ripped fish pens, and submerged the entire city in floodwaters. At that time, classes were suspended for weeks and longer for the low-lying areas, especially those who have become catch basins for floodwaters. Such disaster frightened us all. And it is very interesting to note that this paved the way for a simple science class project led by teacher Willie Gibb under Miss Juana Reyes as principal to become a major school project. When I became their principal, the desire to be all part of the solution and genuine love for our learners gathered us all together in a bigger journey of an environmental action. It all began with an emergency school governing council meeting where ideas of mitigation, learning integration, and zero fund project mobilization were discussed and put into action. Being a public high school, we have very limited funding. So you could just imagine that our team is mostly only driven by passion and commitment to immediately act, if only to save the meager properties, more so the livelihood of our underprivileged children and their respective families. From annual, biannual, quarterly, to frequent meetups became really evident to clean up the area and plant mangroves for an hour or two, starting at 5 a.m. in the morning. We plant no less than 2,000 and as much as 4,000 propagules each meetup, considering the mortality rate of 50%. Today, we're grateful for being able to continue, despite the challenges, as lack of in-depth research and technical expertise in preparing, planting, and sustaining the growth of the mangroves. We always put love in what we do. Thus, we coined a driving statement in our team, sa bukid, may pag-ibig. In the East, there's love. The idea of learning by doing and realizing by experiencing led us more to many partners. Later, in one of our meetings, I asked them which SDGs are we helping? And surprisingly, they answered SDG 3 and 4. Well, I told them that we need to sustain and widen the reach of our project because it is not only SDG 4 and 13 we are contributing. We help in realizing SDG 2 as the result of assisting SDG 14 in creating a haven for fish and other marine life. SDG 6 through our coastal cleanup initiatives within our beach and shorelines. SDG 11, through mitigating risk of destruction of homes, nature, properties, economy, and more so, lastly, SDG 17, because we partner with different internal and external stakeholders. Having gained many insights and sense of direction with the SDGs at the forefront of our actions, we wholeheartedly convey our gratitude to T4 Best World School Prizes, to the founder, Vika Spota, and all the men and women behind the search. Above all, we thank the Lord for the gift of making us His instruments and enjoining our school children and fellow men in slowly but surely healing our environment for the past years, today, and by God's grace in the years to come. Maraming maraming salamat po, and please be one of us in Team Bakawan for a cleaner, greener, and healthier world. Mabuhay Pilipinas! Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Chief, for sharing us the humble beginnings of the project. Even though Mrs. Bintinilla is already the chief of the curriculum implementation division, she still gives her 100 support to the mangrove planting project. Okay, so truly, loving what we do will bring us to greatness for the benefit of our children. And so later for your queries, by the way, we allotted time at the end of the discussions to be answered by our panelists later. And also, may I remind everyone once again to please share our live broadcast using the hashtag World Edu Week. Okay. Thank you so much again, Chief.
Welcome.
And now let's move on to our second speaker, and she will be discussing with you the ways and means for this project to succeed and for the mangroves to thrive. So, to talk about the science behind mangrove planting, let's welcome the head teacher of the science department of Bunuan Buquig National High School, Mrs. Minerva R. Perez. Ma'am.
Hello, good day to everyone. I am Minerva R. Perez, the head teacher 3 of the science department at Bonuan Buquig National High School, and I'm going to talk about the science behind mangrove planting. The reason behind the mangrove planting is due to flood brought about by the typhoon in 2009, and the Flood Mitigation Commission, or the FMC of the Kupan City, used massive dredging of the rivers, including the Lungos River at Bunuan Buquig, where most of the livelihood of the residents and learners of Bunuan Buquig National High School was affected. Due to dredging, of the river to clear the waterways and ease the flooding in the city, mangroves near the Lungos River were extracted, resulting to the loss of habitat, nursery, and feeding grounds of wide diversity of animals. Bunuan Buquig National High School took into action in the presence of a science teacher, Willie Yukiv, by launching a mangrove planting project, or Iluko Aruanko, or the ICAC. During the first year of the project, the team experienced failure for the number of planted propagules and did not reflect the expected number of full-grown mangroves after a year. It is said that the propagules have at least 30 to 50% chance of sprouting and growing. With this data, the team aimed to plant 4,000 mangroves propagules each year during the initial 5-year course. The team sourced out propagules from the community. They studied how to grow mangroves by doing trials and experiments. They identified the male and female propagules in what way these propagules must be planted. With fervent study and research done by the team, they successfully grown about 50% of the number of mangrove propagules planted. The seeds of the mangroves, which are called propagules, when ripened, usually fall to the ground and grow roots. However, due to dredging, most of the seed-bearing mangroves were lost. Therefore, the team needed to collect and manually plant them. Collection of the propagules must be done a day before the planting. placed in sacks and soaked underwater to prevent them from drying. The water salinity and temperature play an important role in the growth of mangroves. The team observed that planted propagules eventually grow about 10 to 15 centimeter per year. So this study indicates the planted mangrove along Longos River, if not uprooted by the tides and human interaction, they easily adapt to the water temperature and salinity of the area. The further studies is still recommended with this one. To continue the project, studies were made and seek the help of the private organizations and local governments, with the internal and external stakeholders like the Knights of Columbus, the Supreme Student, government, school governing council, Parents Teachers Association with the barangay, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Bunuan Buquig National High School planted 4,000 mangroves every year for more than a decade that had started in 2010. Seeing these trees grow ensures not only the sanctuary of the different living organisms, but also helping the livelihood of the parents of our learners, which is fishing and oyster harvesting. Bunuan Bukig National High School is dedicated to expand more and provide inspiration to the whole city and the world. Thank you so much. And this is Minerva again saying thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Perez. Thank you, Mamini, for that very informative presentation. And, indeed, the journey is not easy, but we believe that because with hard work and dedication, inspired by the love that we give to our children as we prepare them for the future, we believe that nothing is impossible. Yes, thank you so much for that, Miss Mini. And so, shall we now move on with our third speaker? And to introduce to you, she is a master teacher in science of the senior high school department of BBNHS. And she was also one of the pillars of this project. And she will talk about how our school continued and sustained the project for more than a decade. So without much ado, let's welcome Ma'am Salvacion Malano. Ma'am? Hello, Ma'am Salvacion. Okay. Um, Hello, ma'am. We cannot hear you, ma'am.
So my greetings again to one and all. Hello. Hello world. Hello Philippines. So I am here today to tell you the story of our project sustainability. Sustainability has been a big word that we attain without realizing that we had it already. Our humble beginning of having the heart of bringing back the greens and shades in the river was a pure intention. And now, these environmental projects of ours, especially the mangrove planting program, was continuously implemented for more than a decade. This school is very fortunate to have had effective leaders over the years. Their leadership and dedication to mangrove planting enabled the school to attain its present status. With every new management, the environmental projects of the school are becoming more intensified and improved. With the full force of Bunuan Bukig National High School family, our little steps in protecting our river through mangrove planting and carrying our beach through coastal cleanup drive and at times tree planting created a sound heard by the world. In 2010, we started the Mangrove Project with a lesser number of participants in the Longos River. As you can see in the picture, the dikes were bare and exposed to the direct heat of the sun. Over the decade of continuous river care, we can see now the full grown mangroves, which became the inhabitants of native fishes and oysters, where our fishermen and the community are benefited. Each year since we started the project, we include it in our annual implementation plan, and it became a part of our system. It became a part of our practice, a culture which transforms our community. We also participate in the International Coastal Cleanup Drive every September, which we include in the Senior High School Academic Enviro Leadership Camp and in Science Camp. To widen our implementation, we partnered with several government agencies, so with private agencies. We have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Philippine National Police, the local government unit of the city of Dagupan, the local government of the barangay Bunuan Buquig, the schools division office, of course, of Dagupan City, the Rotary Club, the GCI, the Knights of Columbus, even the Boy Scouts of the Philippines and the Girl Scouts of the Philippines, so with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. We sustain our project because of this mangrove management that we have. It has 5 phases: planning, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and modification. Each of these phases has several activities that describe mangrove project works better as a program and not just a short-term project. It starts with planning then in every start of the school year. Of course, the implementation proper where we invite stakeholders and other partners. It is essential to monitor, to maintain the site, to evaluate the success of the project, and modify things which are needed to be improved. Indeed, this successful mangrove planting is a continuous process. At present, there are more than 20,800 full grown mangroves that have been part of both national and local programs like the National Resilience under the Executive Order 29 of 2017, the City Flood Mitigation Program, the sustaining of breeding sites for native fish, and to implement further the preservation of sanctuary to migrant and native birds. With this, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Salvacion Malano, for sharing with us the ways and means that BBNHS did despite limited resources. And, the school administration and stakeholders' dedication and resourcefulness are indeed remarkable. So, once again, thank you so much to our speakers for the very comprehensive presentation. And at this juncture, I believe the viewers have questions. Um, if you have any questions, please feel free to key in your questions. Our speakers are more than willing to share more stories with you. So
Yeah.
if you have questions, please feel free to ask questions. Do we have more? Can I see some more? Actually, I've read some comments a while ago, but it's not a question. It's actually a commendation for the project that we did. Okay. We're not,
So,
I
are
guess we're
there
not
more
yet getting,
questions?
okay, to our viewers. Okay, so we have a question. Okay. Question from Arliet ng Mundo. What are the challenges faced? Okay, perhaps this is more on the implementation, no, uh, of the project. So who would like to
Yeah.
answer the question? Okay, Chief.
Yeah,
Chief.
I think I will answer Miss Artelet ng Mundo. Actually, there were many challenges that we faced along the way. The very first one is, of course, we were working on a zero budget because it is not yet a part of the funding of the school. And that's why we have to work on and get a lot of partners from time to time in order to push through with the said project. Remember that whenever we plant mangroves, we call on our students to come as early as 5 a.m. or even 4:30 in the morning, and they leave their homes without even eating breakfast. So what we usually do is after we have cleaned and planted, of course, there's a time also for us to eat together with simple staples like in the Philippines, we have the pandesal and of course coffee. So with just a very simple breakfast, we were able to talk about what happened during our planting spree, and then probably talk about other things that happened there, like someone has slipped. No, sometimes there are many who slip through the pond side and then will go exactly directly to the pond. So many, and then another one is of course lack of technical know-how. We are no experts in the planting of mangroves. What we are having is the drive and the power, commitment, passion to plant and plant and plant. That is actually what we are doing. But given the chance to be backed up with resources to go on with researches and be backed up and mentored and coached by experts, we can do more. So thank you so much, Artelet, for that question. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Chief. Oh, we got another question from Pablo's Mind Palace and No House. What are your future plans of BBNHS if you will win the number one spot? Wow, that's a very good question.
Okay.
Okay, Chief, would you like to answer that question?
Shall I answer it first, and then I'll give it to Salva and Minerva to add more a little to that. Actually, you have two very important things to consider when we win the prize. Okay. First is to have a nursery for mangroves, a very good sanctuary for mangrove propagules, so that it could be well prepared prior to planting season. And then, of course, we really have to embark into research and dig deeper into how we can really prepare, sustain, and take good care of the mangroves until it grows. Okay, so I think that's it. Salva, what about you? What can you say about our plans? We have two plans, right? What else would you want to consider?
Yes, I agree with you. Uh, we are already taking some studies about mangrove, and one of my students asked me if the mangrove propagule is edible. Can I cook that mangrove? Can I cook that mangrove propagule? Can we make some recipe out of mangrove propagule, since we have already many propagules nowadays, because it is its season. Yet I cannot answer his question. Why? Because we have to run phytochemical tests, and we have to research deeper on that side. And yet one of my students pursued making the bulb of the mangrove propagule, since it's a waste, and there are sacks of mangrove bulbs whenever we are planting. So he thought of taking those bulbs, pound them, and make them as a cork board. So I would really love seeing these young researchers taking time to study about the management of mangroves, as well as other environmental care programs of ours. And of course, number one thing is to have the nursery, since we only plant mangroves whenever it is its season. But if when it's out of season, then we cannot pursue our program.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. We have so much in store for us. And That's great. I'm getting more excited. And so, do we have more questions? Okay, we have another question here. I believe this will be the last question that we are going to entertain because of we're having a lack of time. So, were there times when you had to stop and start over? How can other schools implement your best practices without a budget or with a lower budget? Yeah.
We have a very few time to answer to you now, but actually, to go directly to it, we never stop. The key is we never stop. We plant and plant. We plant and plant. That's what we do. Whether there's budget or none, we still plant. We can share you more of our techniques, but those are the two key things that we constantly do. Michelle?
Yeah, so never stop believing, di ba? And so, thank you very much, Chief. And that concludes, I guess, our panel discussion. I believe there are more questions, but we can entertain that. You can reach us with our emails, or you can check our Facebook page, Bunuan Buquig National High School. And that concludes our panel discussion. I hope that you are inspired by our story. So, should you want to replicate our environmental action, here are the 5 key steps. Actually, we summarize it, and we have the 5 key steps to remember, which are presented in an acronym of I CARE, ICARE, or I CARE. So, first, the I stands for identify the root cause of the problem. You know, solving the problem may take time if the origin of the problem is not identified. So going deeper to figure out what caused the problem can fix the issue for good. So the project ECOG, or the mangrove planting project that was launched, was based on the root cause analysis made. Okay, for second is C, from the acronym I CARE. C stands for create a learning environment that instill love for nature. So we are a learning institution, and as a learning institution, aside from the duty to develop the community's human resources by providing quality basic education for all, it also vowed to help rehabilitate and protect its natural resources for the young generations. And I believe our locals here understand what we are fighting for, and this is for the future of their children. And so, with a good education and proper understanding with all the endeavors that we are going through, they give us their full support. The third is A, which stands for act on planning and conduct research. So, as mentioned by Chief a while ago, we never stop. And planning and helps the implementers decide on what resources to use, the time, the budget, information, and even equipment. So research was also done to ensure to create knowledge, to share correct information, because as what Ma'am Salva mentioned a while ago, there is actually one kid who is asking if the mangrove is edible, they can eat it, or something like that. So we need further research, okay? And this helps the implementers develop a better understanding that helps them in their decision making. And fourth is the R from the acronym ICARE. R stands for remember to monitor progress and think forward. So it is always good to dream big and set goals to improve the present situation of the project. And in this way, many more people will be benefited from the project. And finally, for E, from the I CARE, expand the project through partnership with the different stakeholders. Our school or our institution has actually limited resources because we are a public institution and our kids are actually do not have much. Okay, but through partnership with the different stakeholders, in this way we can maximize the resources and get all the support that we need for the success of the project. And so those are the key steps to remember if you want to come up with your own environmental project. Okay, so any more
Questions?
final words or questions? Actually, okay, So with that,
Michelle,
thank you for.
can I invite all of them? Can I
Yes, sure,
invite
ma'am.
all of
Sure.
them to be one of Team Bakawan? Let no
Yes.
barrier divide us all over the world. We want you to hop in. We welcome everyone, and we want to embrace the program with you. Thank you so much, Ma Michelle.
Thank you very much. Okay, so before we finally end, we would like to thank, of course, once again our speakers for giving us a very substantial information. Of course, we have our Chief Linda, ma'am. Thank you very much, Ma'am Minerva and Ma'am Salva, and
You're
also
welcome.
thank you very much, T for Education, led by Mr. Vikas Pota and his team, of
Yeah.
course, to Sir OBG and Sir Tamer for assisting us, and also to Mr. Gobi and Miss Morit for thank you very much for this opportunity to share. And special thanks also goes to our supporters, of course, to the President of the Philippines, our President Ferdinand Marcos. Thank you so much. Our DepEd family, our DepEd Secretary, Vice President Sara Duterte, our Regional Director, Sir Tolentino Aquino, our Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Aguido C. Fernandez, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Marciano U. Soriano Jr., of course, to our two chiefs, Dr. Edelberto Avalos, of course, Ma'am Linda, who's here, who's with us, to our principal, Sir Renato Santillan, our City Mayor, Honorable Belen Fernandez, our LGU
Our
headed by
governor.
the governor, okay, Sir Guico. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
And
And
Congressman Toff de Venecia, don't ever forget also.
oh yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for reminding me. Thank you, Congressman Toff de Venecia also. And our barangay captain, Joseph Maramba, of our parents, teachers, learners, and other stakeholders, our non-government organization partners, and to all the viewers and sharers of the World Education Week celebration, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And God bless.
Let's go. You lead the way. Where are we headed? Towards a net zero future, of course. Cleaner water, more electricity, a sustainable society. That's the destination we've set ourselves. This we know. Yes, we know exactly where we're going, but we need to get there quicker. So, let's build on the progress we've already made by working and walking together. With the right partners, tools, and ideas, we'll become an unstoppable force. This we know. Right now, there are businesses who are putting technology and sustainability at the heart of everything they do. Brave leaders turning maybes into realities and building something better for everyone. Now is the time to look to the future
and reinvent ourselves today, empowering others to do the same tomorrow. Yes, we know what the future holds, and we know how to get there. So, let's take charge of the journey today.
Welcome to our school board meeting.
Namaskar.
Hello.
Hi.
Spiffio. Access in any language.